We good? Hello? Is this working situation? You are live. The internet can totally see you now. To stop, use your encoder. Okay. So, is this shit working? Looks like it's working. In that case, hello peeps. It is I, Super Scoots 94. Let me adjust the situation. Welcome to my first ever YouTube stream. It's probably gonna look unprofessional, so sorry about that. But we're gonna learn along the way. We're gonna try to get used to streaming. I'm not nervous at all. It's just the first stream, okay? Just kidding. I'm totally nervous, but whatever. The idea is, I keep doing this, eventually get used to it, and, hopefully we can make something out of it, make this more of a regular thing. I would very much enjoy doing that. So, yeah, welcome to the Greetings, Chicks and Dicks, and welcome to the Copy Pasta live stream situation. I'm going to be reading some walls of text, cringy walls of text. Some of them cringy, some of them funnier for you ladies and gents, you fine people of YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. For my magical internet device. Oh yeah, check it. I got Teddy. Wait, yeah. Sorry, I'm retarded. I got Teddy. He's on my fucking phone. How cool was that shit? Yeah. Gonna open up some posts. How y'all doing today? How do I see the chat? Sweet. Okay. Cool. Oh. Let me... I'm short as fuck. So let me... Yeah, there we go. Alright. Cool. Alright. So, without further ado, let's get this shit started. So, shout out to Copypasta Hell. They're a Facebook group, and they're where I get most of my copy pastas from. So, yeah, let's just fucking do it. God, this is fucking cringy as fuck. I'm sorry, guys. It's weird because when I think about like I kind of go over in my head like how I imagine the stream to go. So I kind of I know what I want to do, and when I'm thinking about it, I have this whole idea of what I'm gonna say and what I'm gonna do, and of course in my head, it's like I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and then when I start streaming, all of a sudden I get like freaking tense and nervous. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just fucking rambling at this point, so whatever. Oh, if I say frickin' instead of fuck, it's because I'm I intern at this summer camp a lot, and even though it's a summer camp, it's at this school, so I'm around kids a lot, and so I always kind of have to censor myself, and it's this weird thing started where I got used to saying frick all the time instead of fuck, and I hate it. I fucking hate it. There we go. I have to get used to using it again because even when I'm around other people now, I still say it, and it's yeah. Anyways, just so you guys know, this isn't my room or anything. I'm doing this in this penthouse clubhouse, I guess you could call it, above the lobby of the apartment complex where I live. So I usually use this room because I don't know how my roommates feel about me doing live streams late at night. So eventually once I get my own place, that would be really cool, and we could do this probably more often. But yeah, until then, I'm just kind of using this room, and it's pretty cool because most people like I come here and literally it's always empty. Nobody ever uses this place, so I pretty much have it to myself most of the time. So this is where we're gonna be doing most of our live streams initially. So, anyways, I said we get started like who knows how long ago, but yeah. All right, let me get my copy pasta, my copy pasta. All right. Oh yeah. Also, for those of you who don't know, I have social anxiety off the chain. So I'm kind of like fucking paranoid that someone's just gonna come in at any minute and just be like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm gonna have to explain to them that I'm live streaming, and then it's gonna be embarrassing. Holy fucking shit! So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about that too. But as I said, we're gonna get used to this. This chair. Now I see why nobody. Where this chair was like in the corner. This chair fucking sucks. All right. Let us delve into the internet phenomenon known as copypastas. That's amore. This one is submitted by Terry Garrett Elder. I can't have sex with more than one other person in bed. I don't know how y'all niggas do that shit. I tried it twice, so I know. The first time, I was 15 and my friend Sadar was 17. Surrendar brought this girl over, like this beautiful ass Desi black girl. But she had her booty cheeks out and I said, damn. He was like, Gajindar, I got this girl over here. You want to tag along? I said, what? He said, tag team this bitch. I said, nah, bruh, I'm not good at wrestling. He said, you wanna fuck this bitch together? Do you wanna help me hit it? Now, first of all, why you need help fucking somebody? Like, yo, dick that little that you need two dicks to work together as a team? Like, if I had some pussy in the crib, I'd be stingy as a motherfucker. Everybody gotta get out. Here's a gas leak in this motherfucker. Just lying and shit. No chance. This motherfucker's sharing pussy and giving it out like and I was 15. I couldn't say no to some free pussy. I said, sure. Like my dick was already out. I said, where's she at? But I looked over. This nigga had his dick out too. I said, whoa. Wait, what you doing, bro? He said, we ready to fuck this bad bitch, bro. See, I didn't know where he was fucking that girl at the same time. And seeing my friend's dick terrified me. I said, yo, maybe I should have sex with this girl by myself for like the first 20 minutes. Then you can have her. He said, nah, bro, she gotta leave in like 15 minutes. I said, what the fuck? So what the fuck you bring here over for? Then when heard her calling back from the back room, she said, you guys ready? Like she was expecting some dick, So I couldn't let the pussy down. We went in there, my friend had instructions out, like this motherfucker drew out how he was gonna fuck this girl. This nigga was serious. He drew stick figures, had both of us in the pussy at the same time. Goddamn. Like, I don't know what kind of gay shit this nigga was on, but I wasn't sliding my dick in no coochie right beside this nigga. Nigga couldn't even draw. My arm was all deformed and shit, and my neck was crooked. Then the nigga drew his dick bigger than mine. I said, whoa. Now, I ain't measured the dick on nothing. But the nigga dick was like 3 inches. I saw it in my peripheral. I swear by Lord Ram Lala, nigga knew damn well my dick was bigger than his. The fuck you drawing my dick for? But I let it go. We had like 10 minutes left. I said, yo, we can't both put our dick inside the pussy. That's gay, right? And I don't think that's physically possible. You better find another slot or something. I don't know. So he said, right. The girl laying down on the bed, she stretched out like she good. Nigga chance take his dick, shove it in her mouth, like he ain't give her a chance to inhale or nothing. I said, nigga, you a savage. So I ain't take no time neither. I put the condom on, I started fucking her. I got close to busting a nut. I couldn't do it. This nigga Surendar's ass was all in my face. I said, yo, get your ass out of my face. Yeah, stink. I can't concentrate. You need to rotate or something. Like it was his bare ass. And I was trying to close my eyes so I couldn't see it, but I was scared. Like I didn't want to close my eyes and accidentally lean my hand into this nigga's ass. So I had to stay awake. Son, this nigga busted a nut and farted into my face at the same goddamn time. My dick went soft. I said, Surrendar, what the fuck? I punched his ass. It was a reflex. You know, you don't think about these things when you're in the moment. You can say, I would have punched his ass all you want. I wouldn't have punched his ass all you want. But you weren't there when the shit happened, right? You didn't hear it like I heard it, motherfucker. I punched the shit out of his ass. I said, fuck you. I got up. I said, I quit. I walked out. I even pulled my pants up, my drawers and shit, and was just around my ankles. I went to the door to leave. I said, hold the fuck up. I came back. I said, nigga, this is my house. Both of y'all get your asses out and spray. He said, bro, I'm sorry. No, fuck you. My Ami John coming on in like 20 minutes, and I don't want to see y'all. The whole time I was talking, though, I still ain't pulling my pants up. So I ain't look as serious as I could have, but I was mad. I couldn't think. This nigga Surrendar fucked up my life, and I hate him. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Our very first copy pasta on our very first stream. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. We shall move on to the next crazy internet story. Yeah. As soon as I fix this fucking chair, I gotta get a better chair. There are actually other chairs here, but they probably all have the same issues, so fuck it. Hoo-wee. Boy, howdy. I did not think I would be this nervous doing the live stream. I mean, like, it's weird because it's not I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking dumb as fuck, but like, you know, when I do videos, it's not the same, and you know, it's because it's not live, because I'm just recording and I can edit whatever I want out later, but you know, this is fucking live, so whatever. I'm just saying shit that's obvious, and everyone's gonna be like, yeah, Donnie, duh, you didn't think about that? This is live, bitch. Whatever. Alright. Oh, hoo-wee. Boy, howdy. Oh, I found one I thought was extremely good. Yeah, okay. The other thing is, I'm also, like, worried that people can hear me from here, and they're just gonna be like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Oh my god. I need some fucking alcohol. Alcohol is the answer. Clearly. Or maybe weed. I've never tried weed. But some YouTubers I follow smoke it and calms them down, so whatever. Okay. If I talk nonsense, it's because I'm nervous as fuck, and I always talk nonsense when I'm nervous as fuck. Or I'll say things that are obvious, or yeah, whatever. Okay. Whew. Let's find some copy pasta and read it out loud. 'Cause I don't have any actual talent, so what else is there and how? Exactly. Okay. Alright. This one, submitted by Ribu De. Wait, this isn't even the... Fuck me, this isn't the right one. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Ah, yes. A classic. Today, me and my daddy went to the... Fuck! Ah! Okay. Okay. It's fine. It's fucking fine. There's nothing to be nervous about. No, 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 no. No. I'm just fucking... I mean, what? How many viewers do I have? I have, like, what, 2 viewers? 1. And it's me. So... Hello? Okay. Alright. It's cool. It's fine. It's dandy. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Whew. All this anxiety is making me hungry. Okay, hungry for some dick. Alright. Okay. Let's start over. Today, me and my daddy went to the beach. Daddy said that I looked really hot in my cute bikini, princess bikini, and that I was making daddy really hard. He was angry at me for making his big daddy dick hard in public. Daddy said, "I'm gonna punish you, princess." I didn't know what he was gonna do, but I was excited at the thought. He said, "Lay down, princess. Lay down on the hot sand." So I did. I did what Daddy told me to do, and I laid down. It was so hot. And Daddy said that I had to stay there for 2 hours in the blazing heat of the sun with no sunscreen. "Daddy," I begged, "please no." Daddy said, "No, princess. This is your punishment. You got me hard in public." So I sat there in the heat, feeling my soft princess skin start to burn and go crusty. It hurt so bad. But I did it for my daddy. After 2 hours, Daddy finally let me go in the shade. My pretty pale princess skin was now red and peeling. Why would Daddy do this? He took me to his car. He threw me into the back seat. I love it when Daddy's rough with me. I asked him, "What are you going to do to me, Daddy?" And he flipped me over and started to fuck me hard. My tight little princess ass without any lube, and my anus started to tear and bleed. It hurt so much, but I knew that I deserved it. Daddy then came in my little princess ass and said, "It's not over yet, princess." Daddy flipped me over again. He trailed his hand down my body slowly and then pinched some of the peeling burned skin and peeled off a huge strip off it and rolled it up in his hands. "Open up, princess," Daddy said, and shoved the ball of burnt skin into my little princess mouth. It actually tasted kind of nice. Daddy told me to chew, then swallow it, so I did. Daddy peeled the rest of my skin off, and we sat together in the car eating my crusty princess skin. It was so romantic. I love Daddy. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Riz Gardner, for that excellent submission to Copy Pasta Hell. All right, guys. I'm gonna do one more. This is one that many of you probably know. So, all right. Let me get a better chair. One that's not fucked up. I probably look retarded, like fucking sinking in the middle of me reading. Yeah. Fuck. Fuck physics, man. this one's probably better. Alright. Now, this fine piece of literature I actually have saved because it's particularly long. Oh, is it even gonna work? I think my computer's fucking up. Let me see if I can just find it. Yeah. I should be able to find it. I had it saved, but like, of course, my laptop's being a degenerate fuck, so let me go to Alright. Earlier I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stream tonight. It's gonna be the best stream ever. And then like literally moments before I actually start streaming, I'm like, holy shit, holy fuck, holy god. No, I can't do it. And I was supposed to do this last week, but I chickened out, so yeah, I fucking pussed out. But well, I actually did it this time, so that's something, right? I feel like this is just gonna be cringy as fuck, but whatever. What the fuck ever. Like I said, just gotta keep doing this and get used to it, hopefully. It's just a little bit frustrating, but whatever. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Is this shit still working? Am I still live? Like I said, I'm a total noob at streaming, so I'm just trying to make sure we're still live. Because my laptop sucks and can be random as fuck sometimes, so who knows? Maybe the program fucking crashed and I'm not live anymore. Or is this just part of my irrational anxiety? Just like thinking of every possible thing that could go wrong. Nope, we're still good. We're still good. Okay. Hoo-wee. Boy howdy. Alright, guys. So I think this is the last one for tonight. I was planning on streaming longer, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna, just try to do this more often and get used to it. So, without further ado, let's watch for rolling rocks using 0.5 A presses. In this video, I will be explaining exactly what to do to collect watch for rolling rocks in 0.5 A presses. But first, we need to clear something up. Because every time I post a half A press video, I get the same comments over and over asking what it means, even though I always have a whole paragraph in the description explaining it, which even starts with, if you're wondering what a half A press is, read this before commenting to ask. But maybe what you guys need isn't a paragraph. Maybe you guys need an example. So, consider Wing Mario over the rainbow. Not even the whole star. Just consider getting to that cannon platform, which is a necessary part of getting the star. So, how many A presses does it take to get there? Well, if you say 0, you're wrong, because then Mario can't go far enough. If you say 1, well, it's true that Mario can get there with 1, but we can do a little better. We can do it in half an A press. To do that, we start the level already holding A, and then we use that A press to reach the platform. Now, hold on there. I know what you're thinking. An A press isn't an A press. You can't say it's only half. Well, TJ Henry Yoshi, hear me out. An A press actually has 3 parts to it. When A is pressed, when A is held, and when A is released. And together, this forms one complete A press. Now, usually it's the pressing that's useful, because that's the only part that makes Mario jump. However, sometimes it's sufficient to just use the holding part, which allows Mario to do little kicks, to swim in water, to fall slowly while twirling, and to fall slowly with the wing cap. As for the release, well, there's currently no cases where that's useful or important, so don't worry about that part. Now, if we have the map out, the required A presses for Wing Mario over the rainbow, it would look like this. We merely need to hold A to reach the cannon platform. we need to press A to launch from the first cannon, and we need to press A again to launch from the second cannon. So, how many A presses is that total? Well, it appears to be 3, and if we were doing this star in isolation, then yeah, it would be 3. But, in a full game A button challenge run, there are other A presses that occur earlier in the run, such as this A press needed to get into the course. Fuck you, physics. So, if we take that A press into consideration as well, then how many A presses would it take? The naive answer would be 4. 1 to enter the course, and 3 within the course that we established earlier. However, we can do better. We can actually do it in 3 by simply holding out the first A press to be used for the half A press, because the half A press only required A to be held, not actually pressed. So in this fashion, Wing Mario Over the Rainbow only adds an additional 2 A presses to the run, since the first A press just leeches off of a previous A press. So, to capture this phenomenon, we call it 2.5 A presses, or 2.5 A presses. On a single star basis, you'd round that up to 3, but in a full game run, you'd round it down to 2. So, in conclusion, since that first A press counts in some contexts but adds no additional A presses in other contexts, we refer to it as half an A press. So, going back to the video, you can see that I start the level with the A button already held, as indicated in the bottom left corner. And so, in the full game run, this A press will just leech off of a previous one, and so it won't incur an additional A press. Okay, glad that's explained. Now, what am I doing in the video? Here, I'm using a trick called Scuttlebug Transportation. You see, like most enemies, Scuttlebugs have a home, which is just a point in 3D space, and they'll patrol a certain radius around that point. So, if Mario enters that radius, they will lunge at him to attack. But, unlike most enemies, a Scuttlebug's home can change positions. Because if a Scuttlebug bumps into Mario, the Scuttlebug's home will update to where the Scuttlebug was when the collision occurred. So, by strategically luring the Scuttlebug to the edge of its radius and bumping into it, we can effectively transport the Scuttlebug and its home. So, that's what I'm doing here. Note that we can't actually transport a Scuttlebug to outside of its native room. They actually get stuck at the door. So, if your dream was to bring all the Scuttlebugs together for one big jamboree, I'm sorry, but it's just not going to happen. Also worth noting is that Scuttlebugs will actually disappear if they walk into a wall, while too far below their current home. So, I do have to be careful to avoid that. It's pretty weird if you've never seen it before, but I'm pretty sure they did it so that if a Scuttlebug jumps into a hole, it wouldn't just walk around down there. Anyway, I'm transporting the Scuttlebug to the corner right below the Watch for Rolling Rock Star. Because next, I do a trick called Scuttlebug Raising, and here's how it works. On the left, I show a bird's eye view of the scene, and on the right, I show a view from the side. Now, when Mario leaves the Rolling Rock's room, the Scuttlebug deactivates. That's because the room and everything in it are only active when Mario is in the room or standing in a small region right outside the door, indicated here in yellow. So, if Mario isn't in the Rolling Rock's room or in the yellow region, then the room will be completely black, and everything in the room will be invisible and won't move. Conveniently, this allows us to raise the Scuttlebug by performing the following steps. First, Mario enters the Scuttlebug's radius. Although the Scuttlebug is invisible and can't move around, it can still turn towards Mario and activate a lunge. Then, Mario leaves the radius and the Scuttlebug returns to facing its home. Next, Mario enters the yellow region to activate the Scuttlebug. The Scuttlebug will perform the lunge that it started, but cleverly, we have Mario exit the yellow region right when the Scuttlebug is at the peak of its trajectory, thereby deactivating it so it won't fall down. And finally, since the Scuttlebug moves past its home, it turns around to face its home once more. Now, we gotten all the height we could out of the Scuttlebug's current lunge, but there's no problem because we could just activate another lunge by repeating this procedure. Activate a lunge while the Scuttlebug is deactivated. Reactivate the Scuttlebug just for the upwards portion of its trajectory, and then repeat. As simple as that. So that's what I do here, and I have a second screen to show it from the Scuttlebug's perspective. Fortunately, the Scuttlebug's radius isn't a sphere, but a cylinder that extends up and down infinitely. So really, no matter how high the Scuttlebug gets, we can continue to enter its area to activate its lunges and move it upwards. There's no limit to how high we can raise it. Now, it's worth noting that I only activate the Scuttlebug while I'm not inside its radius, so the Scuttlebug will always lunge towards its home and not towards Mario. This causes the scuttlebug to effectively travel straight up above its home. But alternatively, I could have activated the scuttlebug while inside of its radius, and in that case, the scuttlebug would always lunge towards Mario instead of towards its home. So it would actually make its way towards the door and then travel straight up from there. That means it's actually a little faster because we wouldn't have to wait for the scuttlebug to turn back towards its home before each activation. However, it wouldn't work for what we're doing because we need the scuttlebug to be right next to that corner. In fact, the top of that corner has a special property which we call a misalignment. Basically, in the game's code, there's a discrepancy between the way the game handles collision checking the floor with floors versus walls. This results in a 1x1 unit area, where Mario can get under the floor without being pushed away by the walls. And if Mario's less than 79 units under a floor, he'll snap right up onto it. So that'll be important later for getting up there. Anyway, now it's time to build up some speed, and I mean a lot of speed. So to get that speed, we're going to use a trick called hyperspeed walking, and here's how it works. You probably already know that there are some slopes in the game that are too steep to stand on. Mario just slides off of them. But did you know that you actually can stand on these slopes if they're submerged in shallow water? In fact, the underwater portion of these slopes has a special property. If you try running uphill on them, you'll end up running backwards at an increasing speed with no upper bound. But in most circumstances, this would cause us to end up in the water before building up any real speed. We can get a little more speed by running nearby parallel to the slope by ever so slightly uphill. But eventually, the slope runs out or we move too fast around a corner. But there are some ways to have Mario walk while staying in place. For example, if there's a wall perpendicular to the slope, then we can use that. That allows Mario to build up quite a bit of speed before he breaks through. However, if the wall isn't perpendicular to the slope, then we end up sliding down into the water. That's because walls are really just rectangles that push Mario out perpendicularly. So, if Mario moves into a wall at an angle, the game will calculate his intended next position. Then the wall will push that position out, and then Mario ends up having a net movement along the wall. So ultimately, he will end up moving into the water. So, is all hope lost? Well, no, because Tyler figured out that we can actually make use of the gate. You see, the bottom of the gate is a ceiling, and the game doesn't like putting Mario too close to the area right under a ceiling because it doesn't think he fits. So, if we have Mario move backwards into the ceiling, the game will choose not to move him. So we're free to build up speed in place, but not infinite speed because we'd end up breaking free if our speed moved past the gate. So what do? We turn to redirect our speed out of bounds. Notice how we have enough speed so that our intended next position is past the wall and out of bounds. And since the game doesn't like placing Mario out of bounds, it doesn't move him and instead just lets him stay in place, just like the ceiling. But unlike the ceiling, out of bounds goes on forever, so we can essentially build up as much speed as we want without having to worry about breaking free. So now, I do just that. Open the gate, use the ceiling of the gate to build up some speed, and then redirect my angle out of bounds to build up the rest. Now you're probably wondering what I'm going to need all this speed for. After all, I do build up speed for 12 hours. But to answer that, we need to talk about parallel universes. And if you thought my other tangents were complicated, just you wait. Okay, so Mario's position is a floating point number, but it's converted to a short when the game uses it to test for collision with floor triangles. In other words, Mario's position can basically be any decimal number, but it's converted to an integer between negative 32,768 to positive 32,767 inclusive. So, any fractional portion is truncated, and numbers too big or too negative, or numbers too big or too small are moved into this range using the modulo operator. Graphically, this means the position used for floor detection is always inside of this box. So if Mario's in that box, then his actual position and the position used for the floor direction are the same, albeit maybe off by a single fraction due to the truncation. But if Mario leaves the box, then his actual position and the position used for floor detection will separate, since the position used for floor detection will just loop back around to remain in the original box. So now, I ask you this. Here's the course. So if Mario is standing way over here, where there's no land, but the position used for the floor detection is on land, can he stand over here? The answer is yes. As far as the game sees it, Mario is in fact above land over here because the game actually checks for land over here. So, for all intents and purposes, there is essentially land over here, a copy of the original map, and this is what we call a parallel universe, or a PU, or POO. And this applies to every one of these boxes. So there's actually a grid of nearly infinite POOs. Here is a two-scale diagram of the POO grid. As you can see, the POOs are actually pretty far apart. But now I'll be taking some creative liberties and drawing them closer together for the sake of clearer visuals. Now, POOs aren't as glamorous as you might think. The graphics are only the, the graphics are only found on the original map, so that POOs are completely invisible. Furthermore, POOs have no objects like elevators or item blocks, no enemies, no items like coins or stars, and not even any walls. So really, it's pretty barren. Furthermore, furthermore, the N64 console will actually crash if you go to a POO and let the camera follow you. But luckily, we can avoid that crash by fixing the camera in place so on the original map before leaving it. Though that does make it even harder to tell what's going on in the POOs. So, as you just saw, you can travel to a POO if you have enough speed, but it's not as simple as you might think. If you have just enough speed just to reach the POO one over, it won't actually work. That's because the game actually checks if Mario is above land at each quarter step of his movement. That means the simplest POO movement is moving over 4 POOs at once. That way, each quarter step is above land and therefore valid. For simplicity, we call this quadruple POO distance 1 QPOO. Now, up until this point, I've been glossing over a very important detail, which I now need to clear up. What if I told you the distance Mario moves isn't necessarily equal to his speed? For example, look how fast Mario moves at 31 speed on this flat slope, and now compare it to how fast he moves at the same speed on this steeper slope. In both cases, he has about the same speed, but clearly he's moving at different rates. That's because the distance Mario moves is only a portion of his actual speed, and this portion depends on the slope of the ground. The steeper the slope, the smaller this portion is. Note that it only depends on the steepness, not whether Mario is facing uphill, downhill, or sideways on the hill. In these visuals, blue will represent Mario's actual speed and green will represent the portion of it that he moves, in which we call Mario's de facto speed. So in these pictures, Mario has the same speed, but he has different de facto speed since he's standing on slopes with different steepness. So, if we want to move 1 QPOO, it's not sufficient to have QPOO speed. We need QPOO de facto speed, which often means our actual speed will need to be greater than 1 QPOO to compensate. So, to reiterate, we need to increase our speed until our de facto speed syncs up with 1 QPOO, and the speed needed to do this is called the sinking speed. So, in this diagram, the blue arrow represents the sinking speed. The sinking speed. When we have that speed, the quarter steps of the de facto speed sync up with the POOs and we can move. Now, what I'm showing here is just the lowest, or first, sinking speed, aka the speed to move exactly 1 QPOO. If we increase our speed, eventually our de facto speed would sync up again when it covers a distance of 2 QPOO. And so we'd be able to move at that speed, which is 2 times as fast as before. So in general, any multiple of the lowest sinking speed is itself a sinking speed and will cover multiple QPOO at once. So remember, every slope has a different set of sinking speeds, and this can make routing tricky. For example, in the video where I do POO movement to reach the secret aquarium, I had to traverse several different slopes. First, this slope that I used for hyperspeed walking, then this slope at the edge of the water, then the flat ground of the castle foyer, then the castle stairs, which is really a steep ramp, and then the flat ground of the upstairs, and note that the stairs you see, there are actual stairs and not a ramp, so they're just flat ground. Here's a graph showing the sinking speeds for each of these slopes. And so there are the speeds. These are the speeds I need in order to have POO movement while standing on each of the slopes. Naturally, the steeper slopes have greater sinking speeds. Now, keep in mind that I can only build up speed while I'm on the hyperspeed walking slope. Once I leave it, I can't generate any more speed, so my speed will only decrease from there. So to successfully perform this POO route, I better have generated enough speed to meet each slope's sinking speed in turn. For example, Let's say I build up enough speed to reach the first possible sinking speed, and I use that to go to the next slope. Then I could let my speed drop until I reach this slope's sinking speed, go to the next slope, let my speed drop again, until I reach this slope's sinking speed. This is written so weirdly, what the fuck? Go on to the next slope, but then I have a bit of a problem. I have less than the required sinking speed and no way to gain any more. So is this route just impossible? Well, no, because these are just the slope's first sinking speeds. But remember, any multiple of these will work as well. So now, let's factor in each slope's second sinking speed as well. These speeds allow Mario to move 2 Q-Poo at once instead of 1. So now, if I instead build up enough speed to reach the second sinking speed of that first slope, then I'll actually have enough speed to meet each sinking speed in turn and complete the route. So, if that didn't work, we could have considered each slope's third sinking speed and so on until we did get it to work. However, which sinking speed we need to reach initially is kind of a big deal, because reaching the first sinking speed takes about 12 hours and reaching the second sinking speed takes about 25 hours. So if there's a way to use a lower sinking speed initially, then that's a 12-hour save. So, how much speed will we need to generate for the Watch for Rolling Rockstar? Well, keep in mind that even with access to unlimited horizontal speed, we don't have any improved vertical mobility. So to get to the top of the course, we need to travel up slopes and ride up elevators. So this will be the basic route. Start on the hyperspeed walking slope, navigate along the path up from the lake, ride up this elevator, ride up this other elevator, make our onto the amazing emergency exit platform, which is the highest point we can reach, and then launch to the Watch for Rolling Rocks platform. By itself, that still won't be enough height, but the scuttlebug we positioned will provide the extra bounce we need. So this is the graph of the sinking speeds of these slopes. Unfortunately, we run into a bit of an issue with the path up from the lake. That area is made up of dozens of floor triangles that each have different slopes, but that didn't stop me. After careful observation and scrutiny, I isolated 6 triangles, which I named T1 through T6. These triangles have strictly decreasing steepness, so we can meet each of their sinking speeds in turn. Additionally, their heights span the entire vertical distance we need to go from bottom to top without leaving any gaps in between. So, by using the slopes of those 6 triangles, we can complete the blueprint for our route, allowing us to utilize the first sinking speed of that initial slope. So building up speed only takes 12 hours instead of 25. Now, we're almost ready to go back to the video, but there's just some final points I want to make. For example, you don't need to have exactly the sinking speed to traverse PUs. If you have slightly less than the sinking speed, you'll move relatively forwards in the map. If you have slightly more than the sinking speed, you'll move relatively backwards in the map. And the further you deviate from the sinking speed, the greater this relative movement will be. Additionally, if you adjust your angle slightly away from the cardinal direction, you can move relatively sideways. But keep in mind that even the smallest possible angle deviation will be magnified over the Q-Poo distance. And thus, Mario will be sent multiple feet to the side. Now, based off what I've told you, you might think you can only travel multiples of 4 PUs at a time, but that's not actually true. For example, if one of your quarter steps is out of bounds or over a ceiling, then the quarter step will be invalid. And since Mario moves up 2, but not including the first invalid quarter step, he can in fact end up stopping prematurely at one of the quarter steps. Separately, if you change slopes during a quarter step, your de facto speed will change and you'll alter the distance of the next quarter step, and so, most likely, it will no longer sync up with a poo and you'll end up stopping on the new slope. Finally, for simplicity, the set of poos that are multiples of 4 away, we call the Q-Poo grid. And if Mario's on the Q-Poo grid, then we say he's Q-Poo aligned. Remember, moving a multiple of 4 poos is easy, but moving a different amount requires special conditions like out of bounds or changing slopes. So, if you're Q-Poo aligned, it's easy to stay that way. And if you're Q-Poo misaligned, it's easy to stay that way as well. Now, if you become Q-Poo misaligned, you'll need to correct that in order to return to the main map, but that can be difficult if you're not near out of bounds and your sequence of slope changes is predetermined. So, Managing your Q-poo alignment is one of the many challenges of planning a poo route. Okay, and now we're finally ready to resume the main video and watch the poo movement. Just kidding. First, I need to explain what these screens are. These extra screens will help you follow along during the poo movement. The standard view is just the view that the game chose, but since I fixed the camera on the main map to prevent the game from crashing, this screen won't tell you very much. The relative view shows where I am in each poo. This is what it would look like if I let the camera follow Mario around and if poos weren't invisible. The relative map also shows where I am in each poo, but from an overhead perspective. And finally, the poo map shows where I am in the poo grid. Okay, so now let's really start. So, as I explained earlier, I navigate up from the path from the lake using the 6 triangles I isolated, and I've marked them in the relative map so you can follow along. So basically, I get into a triangle, let my speed drop, and until I'm around the sinking speed for that triangle slope, then navigate uphill on the triangle and then move on to the next triangle. Using what I taught you, you should be able to follow along with my movement. For example, I'm able to move relatively backwards because I have slightly more than the sinking speed. Whenever I move sideways, it's because I'm slightly angled away from the cardinal direction. And every time I move from triangle to triangle, my Q-poo alignment changes. But cleverly, I planned it in such a way that they'd all cancel out by the end, and I'd end up Q-poo aligned. So right now, I'm on the 6th triangle. So I do a little zigzag to bring me back towards the main map, as you can see on the poo map screen. Remember, I need to return to the main map in order to access the elevator since there are no objects in poos. As you may have noticed right there, the elevator didn't register me until I started kicking, and that's actually the reason why I've been holding A this entire time. By holding A, I can press B to do these little kicks. Without these kicks, I go through the elevator, but with the kicks, I can ride it up to gain precious height. So now, we're closing in on the end. My final movement I do will be a kick onto the amazing emergency exit platform, and then turn and launch myself towards the scuttlebug. That movement will bring me 10 poo to the right and 3 poo down. But since I want to end up on the main map, I reverse this displacement and so position myself 3 poo up and 10 poo left. While doing that, I simultaneously position myself in the correct relative part of the map to make the movement work. Okay, now don't blink, and there we go. By bouncing on the scuttlebug and ground pounding in the misalignment, I achieve just enough height to get onto the Rolling Rocks platform. Here, I show an unabridged version of the scuttlebug raising, in case earlier's viewing was too choppy to follow. As you can see, the scuttlebug moves back and forth, above its home. At the end, you can see that I do 2 special raisings purely to move him sideways and closer to the corner since he ended up being too far away for the bounce to work. And here, I show an alternate angle of the final poo movement. The scuttlebug actually became active once I entered the poo version of this room. So I really only had a handful of frames to get over here before he fell too far. And there you have it. Watch for Rolling Rocks done in half an A-press. Man, I did not expect this video to become 25 minutes long when I started commentating, but I guess there was just that much to explain. Hopefully you were able to follow along with my explanations and visuals, learn something new, and had an enjoyable experience. So, thanks for watching. Holy fuck. I do not remember this being that long. Nope. Well, should I, yep. That concludes the copy pasta reading stream situation. We're gonna get better at this. What was the point of this, you ask? I have no fucking idea. I guess just to practice getting on camera again. Because I feel like I used to be better at this, but I haven't, made an actual video that I put a lot of effort in since, 2013, 2012 even, maybe. So, I gotta get used to it again. And that was just videos. I haven't actually streamed before, except a few times on Facebook, so... Anyways, yeah. I feel like this stream itself could be a copy pasta, but that would be one fucking long copy pasta. Anywho, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Thank you for watching, all 2 of you, or maybe it's just one person, I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my first ever YouTube live stream, and we'll figure out what the fuck to do for the next one. See ya. Bye. Have yourselves a fucking good one.